And I'm going to wiggle this, change the position of it a little bit. And now it's too loose. So now I'm going to grab it and I'm going to pull it down a little bit and turn my needle depth gauge. Still a little tight. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Now it's a little too loose. I'm going to bring it down. And we're going to keep repeating this process until the needle just barely scrapes the top edge of the needle depth gauge. Just like this. That's just barely scraping now. So now we'll simply take this collar, we'll tighten it back up, and we'll take one last check. Beautiful, that's just barely scraping now. Now that we've set the height of the needle depth, we need to adjust the upper collar. The upper collar is adjusted the same distance we just moved the lower collar. So if we move the lower collar 3 millimeters further down, we need to move the top collar 3 millimeters down. The way I like to set the top collar is I like to compare it to the rest of the needles on the machine, since the rest of the machine is set up for us. The way I like to set the top collar is I like to compare it to the rest of the needles on the machine. So the first thing we need to do is release this needle from the reciprocator. We start first by turning the hand wheel back to 100. And then we pick a different needle number. Since I'm adjusting number 1, the easiest one to press would be number 2. That kicks that one up. So now if you look behind the embroidery head and you look against the catches that engage with the reciprocator to make the needles go up and down, you'll notice that the first one is dropped lower than all the rest. They all need to be on the same plane. That is adjusted from that top collar. If we had made the same exact adjustment that we moved the bottom collar by, they would all be lined up. Since we haven't moved the top collar yet, you'll notice that it's not in alignment. What will happen is this will cause the reciprocator to not engage with that needle bar, therefore the needle will not go up and down. So now I'm going to simply grab the presser foot and pull down so that I can see that top collar using my T-handle Allen wrench. Again, I'm going to adjust it, tighten it down. I'm not going to make it real tight yet, and then release it again. Look behind the embroidery head again, and they should all be lined up. If they're all lined up, I'm going to pull down from the presser foot again, tighten it up to seat it nice and tight. I'm going to go back and I'm going to reseat the bottom one to make sure it was nice and tight. Let it go, and the needle depth is now adjusted. You now need to continue doing that for the rest of the needles, making sure you only do one needle at a time.